Hi again, everybody. This is Dan from Prayer Warriors, and today we'll be looking at the book of Esther. This will be part one, and we'll be focusing on the holiday, which um, starts today at sundown, and that's Purim. Now, I want to remind you, a remez is what the rabbis would call a hint of something deeper. It's like a signpost. It's like buried treasure that in the Bible that God is saying, "Hey, dig here. There's a truth to be learned." Um, and Purim, let's getting back to that, means drawing lots or lots. It's a Jewish holiday that celebrates the Jews' deliverance from an attempted Holocaust in Persia during the reign of Xerxes. This was accomplished by God using Queen Esther and a guy named Mordecai. I'd like to lay the groundwork in part one here. The southern kingdom of Judah had been taken captive by Nebuchadnezzar II, but were allowed to retain their tribal identities. Now, when Assyria conquered Israel, the northern kingdom, they had a habit of mixing people from different regions and trying to destroy tribal identities. But Nebuchadnezzar had a different policy. Nebuchadnezzar's first siege was in 606 BC, and he set up vassal kings, but later rebelled, and finally he'd had enough, and he demolished Jerusalem in 587 BC and took even more captives. Now, later on, Cyrus the Great conquered Babylon in 539 BC. The prophet Daniel showed him his name in the ancient book of Isaiah, written over 100 years before his birth. At that point, Cyrus was impressed, and I think you and I would be too if we saw our name written in a dusty old scroll. He allowed the Jews to return to Israel and even provided monetary incentives to do so. However, only about 50,000 took him up on that. Most Jews had made a good life for themselves and remained in Persia. And then that leads us to our story here. This brings us to Xerxes, also known as Ahasuerus. I hope I'm saying that right. From 486 to 465 BC. This guy was what my Army AIT instructor would say was not wrapped too tight. He was prone to fits of insane rage. He once ordered engineers to build a bridge so he could transport animals and troops to try to invade Greece again. When the waves of the sea raged and destroyed the bridge, he took a chain and went out into the sea and whipped the sea while his men shouted curses at the sea. Then he had his engineers beheaded. Nice guy. God can use anyone, and he did with Xerxes. The villain of this story, Haman, would never have existed if King Saul had followed God's command to kill King Agag. And also because King David showed mercy to a guy named Shimei who had openly cursed him. One of the heroes of Esther was born much later, Mordecai. Now, Esther's name of birth was Hadassah, which means myrtles, the myrtle tree being associated with righteousness. Esther was a name given to her later, which means star or hidden. The book of Esther is the only book of the Bible in which God's name does not appear openly. However, it does appear 8 times in acrostics, the Yod He Vav He, underneath the text at intervals, at the same interval. This appears to show that God is, just like the name Esther implies, is working behind the scenes to protect his people. Now, we'll continue in the next video, and I've got links below that are really good links. May God richly bless you.